Hi, I'm Jordan, and I'm the podcast host of Forever Blooming.
Hi, I'm Insha, and I'm the co-host.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Forever Blooming's origin. We'll be talking about our mental health backgrounds and our general backgrounds, just so you can know a bit about us. And then lastly, be sure to tune in for our coping strategies, likes and dislikes, and basically our mental health history. And yeah, I hope you have a fun time listening.
And this is Forever Blooming.
So of course, we're going to get right into Forever Blooming's origins, just so you guys can know a little bit about how this podcast came to be. How did Insha, our lovely co-host here, come to be on this podcast? So basically, about Forever Blooming, it's actually a pretty funny story because it originally didn't start off as a podcast. I never even thought about starting it off as a podcast. So in one of my clubs for high school, they said that I'm going to have to do a service project for basically just community service and volunteering and stuff like that. And they said that I couldn't do a mental health service project because, you know, there's other resources out there like therapy and other community support groups, and it's not really a place for teenagers to talk about mental health, which I'm still very, very mad about that. But I'm glad because then it started off here as a podcast. I really wanted to still...
I mean, it always starts as a school project, and then, you know, later on you realize it becomes a kind of, you know, thing you're interested in. It always starts with a school project. Yeah.
And then after that fail, of course, like Insha said, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do this on my own. So then Forever Blooming came to be. Why a podcast though? I think it's kind of different when you have like a sort of YouTube channel, when you have to think about topics and you're by yourself and you have to think, how do you make this content engaging? How do you do proper editing? How do you make it as entertaining as a YouTube channel should be? But of course, I wanted to take the weird way out and I wanted to start a podcast.
Yeah, and I feel like podcasts are more appealing to people because they can hear it anywhere they want. And I mean, I think people are better listeners than they are readers because people usually refrain to read long blogs and articles. So they just like rather listen to a podcast, and it's much more convenient. And, you know, they like to hear people share their stories about certain topics. And it's actually a really effective way to kind of, you know, spread social awareness. So podcast therefore is a very great source.
I do want to add on to that. It's just, I know that me myself, I listen to podcasts all the time, and I can just like wash my laundry or clean up my room as I'm listening to podcasts. So it's very convenient, and I just love talking. So yeah, a podcast sounds great. I did, however, want to say that I did start off with another podcast idea. Don't steal this from me. I might make it in the future. I don't know. But Forever Blooming was initially going to be an advocacy podcast called Outspoken. Well, basically, I just talk about everything wrong with the world and complain about everything.
I mean, that could work as well.
Exactly. And I think that would be such a good idea.
As she said, don't steal it from her. Don't steal it. She's copyrighted the same title.
Exactly. But yeah, I felt like advocacy was probably too broad, and I'm more passionate about mental health. But you know, never know. Maybe look out for the future and see if that'll be out there. And then a little bit about Forever Blooming's name and our message. Of course, if you don't know already, our mission is to just alleviate mental health stigma because there's so much of it, especially as I've heard in other Asian countries. I'm in America, Insha is in India.
I'm the Asian one here.
Yeah. And I think it's so special that we can communicate across the world, by the way. It's amazing.
Yeah. To share ideas and, you know, hear different people's ideas. It's really a good way to kind of, you know, explore ideas such as mental health. And
absolutely.
It's really actually fun to do. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I love that you're here and you're going to share all of your ideas with us.
Yeah, we'll be working towards that, definitely.
Yes, but again, a little, well, yes, you know our mission, but what does Forever Blooming's name actually mean? Basically, Forever Blooming is just all about finding the passion or the motive to grow. And as a person and as a friend, as a daughter, as a sister, etc., and just continually have the motivation and passion to improve yourself every single day. People say that others can't change, but I believe that with enough dedication and motivation, we all should strive to be a better person in every situation in life.
Yeah, and growth is certainly really important because you just can't stick to being one person throughout the life. You kind of have to grow out of your personal space as well. And for that, you need to explore more ideas, communicate with different people. And it's really important to do so. And this is something that everybody should do, and it's really essential for their life as such.
Absolutely. I think that's also why people are just like stuck in their own ways and think they're right all the time and think they're above everybody, but that's not gonna work in the real world.
And that's also sometimes where the mental health problems arises, because they can't grow out of their space. They can't grow as a person. So this is also a challenge that comes with not growing. So I mean, it's important to kind of explore different sides of the world as such.
Absolutely. I love that message. Of course, building off of that, I think it's so important to just be able to normalize it. Of course, as I mentioned before, we do want to decrease that stigma, but I think that it's especially important because I know that a lot of times people can feel alone because they feel like they can't go to anybody to talk to because it's stigmatized, or they just feel uncomfortable talking about that sort of stuff. But I think it's definitely essential to be like, hey, you're normal, you're valid, everything you're feeling is absolutely valid.
And you matter.
So, absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess I should pose this question to enter here. What was it like hearing about Forever Blooming, and why did you come on this podcast?
Yeah, so I'm kind of a really big advocate for mental health, since it's a really arising problem in the generation, the Gen Z as such, and it needs to be talked about more. So I heard about Forever Blooming and I contacted her. I was so excited about the project because since it's my first podcast, and I've actually thought I would be kind of doing a podcast, and not just like the mental health problems. I think it's a really good way to kind of spread awareness about stigmatized topics and just to talk about taboos and share our experiences, because I think when people can relate to you, they kind of they want to take advice from you, and if they can take advice from you, it certainly is going to make their life better. And again, podcast was a side that of the world that I never explored and thought I would, but here am I now. So this was a really exciting project, and because again, mental health is so important to me as well. And coming here was literally the best thing ever. And Jordan is so sweet, and she was so welcoming, and she kind of informed me about everything. So it certainly is a new experience, but I hope I can make the best out of it.
I think we're all experiencing new experiences here, and I think you're doing an amazing job. So.
Definitely.
Awesome. That was so inspiring.
No philosophical quotes here, or people are going to be like, this is so too cliche to kind of hear. But yeah.
I mean, hey, sometimes you gotta be cliche. So.
Yeah, it's important sometimes. Or otherwise it doesn't emphasize your words enough.
Absolutely. So we're gonna be moving on to a little bit more personal topics, just our background and our mental health background, so you guys can know a little bit more about us just after hearing more about Forever Blooming. So I can say I'm 16. How old are you? I don't think we've shared
14.
age.
I'm actually 14. I'm not that old as such. I mean, I'm sorry for calling you old, but I'm kind of young.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. But I'm not that old. I'm not 16, of course. I'm 14, and I'm just a freshman in high school. I don't have as much experience. I mean, people would say like, you're too young to kind of, have a mental health history and background. But I feel like everybody, no matter how young, how old, they all kind of go through their own mental health struggles and problems. And to kind of just disregard them, it's not a good thing, because everybody has their own struggles and battles going on within. And I feel like this is why, first of all, I've been interested in this topic, since I kind of suffer from anxiety sometimes, and it can get intense. I can have panic attacks. So basically, I got into the idea of mental health, and there I wanted to kind of explore this idea. So it started from psychology, because I wanted to see how can I improve myself and my mental health condition. So this is kind of why I'm so passionate about it. And I see a lot of people struggling with it, and I don't kind of want them to go through the same experience, because since I've been through it, I want to kind of help them. So this is why I'm really passionate about mental health, and I hope to do something in this field as such.
I hope so too. That sounds so awesome. If you become like a therapist, please reach out and be like, "Hey, I'm doing big things."
Yeah, and then I'll come as a counselor on your podcast again someday, and I'll be like, free counseling here.
I love that. I will promote your office or your therapy appointments 100%.
Yeah, then it's done. It's finalized. We're doing that someday.
Absolutely. I do want to build off what you said a bit earlier. Yes, we are considered young, but that does not mean that we haven't gone through other mental health experiences. And I know that, especially being a teenager, it's definitely like a very vulnerable time, and you're just trying to figure things out. So having these voices and having this platform is so essential.
Yeah, and when you're transitioning to specifically people who are 16, 17, 18, they're transitioning into being adults, and they're kind of going into their own, and they experience a drastic change. And just teenagers in general, because they're expected to take up more responsibilities, and they're trying to kind of just transition into a point where they're not exactly children, but they're not exactly adults. So this can be a really difficult phase for them, and they, this is the point where mental health problems starting to arise, and if not talked about, then later on it can affect their life, greatly, because this needs to be sorted as quickly and as effectively as it can be.
Absolutely. We're getting so wise here.
Yeah. People are going to be quoting words from the podcast, and they're going to be putting it on Instagram motivational pages. They're like, said by this person, said by that person.
Please, I will like all of your quotes. I would love that. I know that Insha did mention this already, but I am also, well, I'm not also, but I'm a high school junior, ready to graduate by the end of the year. Scary.
Scary, yeah.
Bit about my family. I am the youngest child. How about you?
I am the oldest child. I have a younger sibling, so I'm kind of, expected to look after her as well as myself. So it's difficult, to be honest, because sometimes, siblings can get annoying, we all know that. But yeah, kind of supposed to look after her, and I'm the oldest, so the responsibility kind of gets onto my head the most. And yeah.
I definitely
think I'm a freshman in high school, by the way.
I was gonna say I definitely admire older siblings, because as the youngest, I'm just like, yeah, I'm chilling, I'm getting spoiled, and then oldest are like,
and you're supposed to do everything for the younger siblings. You're supposed to, you are the one that is being yelled at, and it's really distorting. I kind of feel bad sometimes, but then hey, you have to kind of transition into taking up responsibilities. So this could be a good way, after all, it's not so bad. You can also tell them to do things for you.
Go get me a sandwich. Oh my god. But yeah, I think my experience as the youngest is definitely kind of odd though, because all of my siblings I have 3 brothers. All of my siblings are way older than me, and they don't live with me anymore. So it's like I'm kind of the only child right now.
Yeah, but you could always refer to them, if you want some advice. So I mean, it's not so bad to have an older sibling. You can always talk to them about things because they have gone through a certain experience that you probably haven't. And when you're going into again a new phase, you can always talk to them, have a word, because they'll be more chill than your parents, and that's for sure. I could say. I mean, the things that you can't talk with your parents, you can always talk to them.
I definitely agree because I know that I call my siblings and I'm just like, hey, I need your advice right now, and my mom is not going to answer this. So
yeah, like I need you to convince her for like allowing me to go to a party. I want to go to that party, and you need to tell her
so
that.
So it does come with its benefits.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk a little bit about our hobbies. Me, myself, I'm very, very artistic. I love creative writing. I love everything art, things like that.
Definitely. Yeah, so I kind of am a really artistic person. I try to invest myself in different fields of art in many ways. So I do writing. Basically, that came from the fact that I started reading, and then I went through to journaling, and then eventually writing as an interest. And then I dance. I kind of play guitar, and I think one of my and I also basically music is a really important part of my life, and again painting and sketching. So a lot of my hobbies, actually a very big part of my interest, include trying out new things such as this. So I really love to try out things and push my boundaries and kind of just explore different things and talk to new people just like you. And yeah, it's turning out well so far, so I'm definitely gonna do it more.
Trying new things. I myself am actually a ukulele player, so I mean, hey.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Ukulele is such a aesthetic and satisfying instrument, for real. Like,
that's so why calming. I always see like these little videos, like covers of the ukulele and like soft voice, and I'm like, I want that.
Yeah. Definitely. Guitar is a little bit more trickier than ukulele since it's big, but again, anything in the field of art, respect.
I love that. I guess another thing I do want to mention, as I said, I'm very passionate about mental health, but I'm also very passionate about other things like civil rights, LGBTQ rights. I don't know, everybody should have an equal opportunity, so I just love being an activist for those type of things.
Yeah, advocacy is again a thing that I'm really going into the idea of advocacy, since I'm just transitioning into learning and coming towards new ideas. So I think again, social awareness and psychology basically are like two of the things that I'm really interested in right now. And again, as you said, rights, LGBTQ rights, and there's a lot of racial discrimination, religious discrimination happening, and so that's all those factors that kind of I'm very passionate to work for. And again, one thing in the field of art, so a thing that I really want to pursue if the psychology career doesn't work out is an acting career. And that sounds kind of odd for a person who just mentioned those previous interests, but I really am interested in the field of drama and art as well, and I hope to kind of combine those interests as well as the acting part, and hopefully I can do something good in the future.
I mean, if you think about it, if you don't become a therapist, you can always go on a show and act like a therapist. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, next thing you know, I'm on Grey's Anatomy curing patients.
That would be so cool. I've never watched the show, but I've heard it was really good.
Yeah. Oh. Same, I haven't actually. Just
wow.
I heard people talk about it, so yeah, just saying, don't come after me.
I know that a lot of people have certain interests, as we mentioned, and I know that there are a lot of motivations that keep people going. So I want to ask, what keeps you going? What are you motivated about? What keeps you motivated?
Yeah, so like the times when I was really demotivated. I mean, I feel like mostly the part I was demotivated is because I didn't have anyone to talk to. So I feel like if you consult people, I mean, I'm not saying you go see a therapist right then and there. I mean, of course, they can provide good professional help, but before that, you just need to clear out your thoughts and get them going, and you need to organize them. And you can always talk to a certain person, if not your parents, then your siblings and your friends. So I feel like that really helped, talking to people, since it's such a major, it plays a major role in improving your mental health. And other things is just that I see other people kind of coming out of their depressive phase, and then they kind of flourish as such. So I really like to see people come from a place where they're not in a good mental state to kind of just becoming the best version of themselves. That kind of also gives me motivation. And it's all about pushing yourself, because if people can do what they have to. They'll talk to you, they'll give you all these tips and strategies, but then it's on you to kind of implement them in your life. And if you are willing to improve your state or condition, then I think nobody else can stop you from achieving that. It all depends if you are willing to do what other people are kind of recommending you
Yeah,
to.
that makes sense. Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
I think that was so inspiring, just listening to it, like, oh my god. I can definitely...
I kind of shook myself here.
I was gonna say, I definitely want to just emphasize that even if you think you are alone, you're not alone. So just go and talk to people, even if it's not about mental health. Because I know for me, sometimes I really just don't feel like talking about it. So I just go and hang out with people, and it helps.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a major issue that if you're not willing to talk about mental health, you can just talk about your daily life,
Right.
like how's your life going, what your interests are. And if you don't have real life friends, you can always make them online. At the end of the day, you just need people to talk to and
Right.
share your ideas and
That's
thoughts.
a motivation factor, especially when I meet people like you who just have like so big dreams and big aspirations, and I'm just like, wow, you're so inspiring. I think I want to do stuff like that too. I love to see how you're thriving, so that's definitely motivation.
I mean, most people don't open up a podcast at the age of 16, and I mean, you did that, so kudos to you, girl.
Thank you. I guess we can talk a little bit about more about our mental health backgrounds, because I do want to share our experiences with y'all.
Yeah. So get into the deep stuff.
I know for sure that my sort of start with mental health, it was very, very drastic, because I felt like I had this like breaking point in life. I was about probably 12 to 13 years old when I had just like this deep realization where I realized that, yeah, I'm not okay. And I think it was, especially at that age, it was very vulnerable for me, because I know that as a teenager you're going through life and you have hormones and all of these mixed up thoughts and everything, but especially at like that 13-year-old age, you're just like, wow, I'm becoming older and everything is hitting me fast and hard. So
yeah, definitely so relatable, because I'm just like coming into it, and it's so relatable. I feel like for me, as I kind of always have been the outcast. So I used to live in a small town because my mother used to work, so I used to live with my grandparents, and there I did have a lot of friends, and I kind of just wasn't my own person. I had my own little world where I was always in. So from like the beginning as well, I didn't have a lot of friends. And then I moved into a big city with everyone, and there again I was the outcast. People didn't want to approach me because I came from a small place again, and stuff like that. So for a long time I struggled with making friends, and that kind of really downgraded my self-confidence, because when you don't have people around you to kind of give you the motivation and just cheer you up, like, yeah, go for it, that kind of really makes you self-conscious. So that's, I started to feel really underconfident at a really young age because of my lack of friendships as such. And then I switched schools really frequently because we used to move places to places, and then that again played a major role. And then again, that's what deteriorated my mental health. I started feeling miserable and stuff like that. It kind of really made me feel down, as like I didn't have people to talk to. And I mean, this is still a journey. I'm still proceeding into kind of, I mean, if not getting used to it, then kind of just trying to make the best out of it. Like, if I can't make friends, then okay, I'll just do what I can with my own self. So this is, I mean, not just friends, because with growing age, you have more responsibilities and you are expected to do much higher things than you were previously doing. So that kind of pressure and, all pressure to do the best always also kind of placed a lot of things in my head that I wasn't able to figure out. But now I'm slowly coming to a better place.
Absolutely.
And it's a process. I'd say
it's such a journey. I really want to just mention a few things that I related to, because I definitely know what it's like to just be the new kid all the time. I personally have moved like over 16 times in my lifetime. So yeah, I've been the new kid like every single year. So I get that. I especially when I was younger, I know that I felt like an outcast. I didn't have a lot of friends, and now I'm just like, hey, I want to friend everybody. I want to befriend everybody and talk to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. That's like one of the major reasons why I decided to kind of, enroll in opportunities such as podcasts, because that would just help me make more friends, if not just, spread social awareness.
I totally get that. It's just, I think, obviously, like you said, it's such a process, because I was very stuck. I had a lot of social anxiety, and I felt like everybody was watching me and everybody was thinking badly about me. Nobody is.
Yeah. And to add to it, I was like, I still am the nerdiest kid in my class, so nobody kind of just like, I'm only the kind of person that people use or just talk to when they kind of want grades, or they, want help in projects. But so I've been used, I'd say, but now I'm kind of getting better at not being used. I'm coming to a place where I'm like, I know my boss. I am not going to let them
so
use
empowering.
me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. A little hype moment.
Obviously, I love that hype. Please keep giving yourself that hype. I know that another thing, me personally, I had at a young age, my father divorced my mother, and I know that definitely affected me a lot. I think that was pretty much like the root of all sort of trauma related things. Like, it's still affecting me today. I view men differently because of what happened with me and my father, but I am trying to improve that. As Insha said, it's such a journey and we're all improving. Yeah,
definitely. And you can't just expect to get better. Like, you can't be like, you see one, mental health improving strategy on TikTok and then you implement it next day in your real life. And you're not supposed to kind of just get everything together, get your life together in one day. It'll take time. You'll get used to it. You'll explore new things and new ideas and everything. So you just have to, and in that moment when you're just, trying to be at a better position, it also, you kind of come to different realizations about yourself. You kind of get to know yourself better as a person, and there are deep possibilities and hidden within you, and you just get to explore them and kind of get to know yourself better. That also comes as a part of the process. That sounded so philosophical.
It sounded so deep and inspiring.
No,
but it's just I know there's so many times in my life where I felt like I thought that by implementing like one coping strategy, such as I love to watch a lot of YouTube videos when I'm down, but I think that I think that just by expecting to watch YouTube videos one day and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be fine, and try all these new things.
Yeah, And the YouTube videos they also like mention a lot of strategies, do meditation, do journaling. I mean, it kind of just depends on what you like. Basically, I'm not really a meditation person, and I mean, people really recommend meditation for anxiety and stuff, but I tried meditation and I don't know why, but I suddenly got a panic attack and I was like, I'm never turning back to it. I don't know, I just started feeling like, this tense feeling in my stomach, and I was like, I'm never turning back to meditation. It'll give me like huge anxiety. But I think do whatever works out for you the best. I mean, it's no harm to try new strategies because ultimately they are designed to help you. But you kind of just see different things, and it's different experiences of people, and you kind of just sort out what works the best for you, and nobody else can tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't. You have to figure out that for yourself.
I was just gonna say meditation is just like my go-to, and you're like, oh no, meditation does not work for me, but that's okay, we're all different.
Yeah, I mean, it works differently for different people.
I think I can say that there was also a lot of outside factors regarding my mental health, such as like my family. Oh, my family. As much as I love them, they are just like, mental health. No, that doesn't exist.
Same. I mean, I feel like, as I previously mentioned, kind of moving into different places and living a little bit away, I've always been a little detached from them. I'm not able to kind of sit with them and connect with them better. It always kind of not frustrates me, but I kind of, I don't feel welcomed, even though I am. It's just the state that's going in my head. I can't. But I'm trying to get better, and I'm trying to sit with them, talk with them. But that also plays a major role, what your environment is, how you're nurtured. That again goes on to play a big impact in your life, and kind of just decides what you are going to become as a person in future. And and some other factors that had a lot of impact on my mental health were study pressure. So in India, basically, there's a lot of competition, and there's always a lot of competitivity, and mostly toxic. And this kind of pushes you to do better. But if you don't come to an kind of desired place, you're not given much importance. You're just considered useless, worthless. So there's a lot of toxicity around the areas of education as well. So that school basically, in a nutshell, pressurizes you more than anything. And I feel like if that's not a good, a school should be a place where you need to get education as well as take care of your mental health. But if school is the reason why you're struggling, then there's definitely something that needs to be changed.
I really just I want to say that it is kind of different here. Like I think while there is a lot of pressure to be like perfect, get perfect grades, be the best, and be competitive, but I think here it's kind of just like I established a business at 16 years old, or I did amazing things that's not related to school a lot, and it's just...
it's kind of same because it's a human tendency, because if a person is achieving something, if they're getting the certificate, the awards, the recognition at a young age, they are the people that are going to do something big in their life. On the other hand, on the contrary, if a person is kind of not open to people in their own world, they're not considered to be to do good in their life. And in India, it's basically about jobs, corporate jobs, getting government jobs. So if you kind of do anything outside that field, you're not given much respect unless and until you excel. But with my family, it's not like that. And I mean, that's what I'm
glad.
Kind of thankful for, because they're kind of always but again, pressurizing is a major thing that I want to point out, because that's about every that's every house's story, and you can't change that, because you can change yourself, but you can't change other people. So but then you need to decide what you can do out of it. Like, if you can let their comments affect you, or you want to do your own thing and not take it to your heart, and just kind of grow out of it and become certainly a
Right.
better
I
version
think
of yourself.
I think just to add on to that, I think people can definitely play a large role on your mental health and how you feel. I think it's definitely a learned skill to try to just block that out and ignore them and try to just do you. Because I know that me especially,
Yeah.
even I struggled a lot when I was younger. I struggled with that a lot and trying to just internalize everything that people are saying. And I even struggle with that today. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's all about learning to be yourself and being individual.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not that easy to just change your habits and how you perceive things that quickly. I mean, one day you can't just take things and comments, you can't take them to heart, and then next day you're going to be better about them. Again, it takes a while, but it's you that matter,
Absolutely.
not other people, and that's what we always have to keep in mind, because they have maybe their own struggles going in their life, and they're kind of just bashing at you. Then that's affecting them, and if you let it affect you,
Right.
then I mean, that's the problem,
It
right?
is your life, not anybody else's. You can take control. It's your life.
Yeah,
But of
yeah,
course, it is going to
definitely.
take a while.
That should be like that should be on a banner. It's your life. You should take control
I
for
love
this.
that. I guess we can
Yeah.
talk a bit more about our coping strategies, talk about more about our likes and dislikes regarding the mental health community, and just talk about what things work for us. So, I guess, what have you done to cope? I know
Yeah.
that you mentioned a few things, but
Yeah, I mean, meditation, yeah, not a good idea for me. Certainly, I'm not gonna try that again. But I think I really am invested in writing. I mean, it makes me feel at peace and at calm. Writing about anything when I'm having some thoughts. I mean, I won't say do daily journaling, because not a lot of people can keep up with it. And trust me, it's a big task to kind
Yeah.
of keep track of your journal every single day. I'd say writing makes it better. Trust me, it really does. Not don't write frequently. I mean, only write when you need to, and you have a lot of thoughts in your mind, and you need to declutter them. So think of paper as a friend that you were talking
I
to,
love that.
and sharing your secrets, and if you don't feel satisfied, just tear the paper,
Wow.
throw it in the dustbin. But yeah, I mean, even if you do that, you still kind of got your thoughts in one place, right? And you have
Yeah.
your mind decluttered, and you're better now. So I think writing has really worked out for me. And second was music. I think not just like meditation music, 'cause no, I'm not going to that part, such, but folk music, indie music, even punk music. It has really impacted me, and it's continuing to impact me, because I really love music. It's a very important part of my day. And yeah, so again, it's all what
Right.
works out for you. I mean, music may work out for me, but then again, it may not work out for you. So again,
Oh my god, yes, icon. Again, well, I guess I can just say, as mental health or meditation, I meant to say, as meditation helps for me, journaling does not help for me. So we're so different in that way. Because I feel like for me with journaling, like I love writing. Again, I'm so into creative writing, but when I journal, it's just like, man, this seems like draining. It'll probably make me think like more about my problem and make me ruminate more, probably just like make me more anxious and more depressed after seeing it all on paper. So that's why journaling doesn't really work for me, but I know that it's very helpful for other people. I think that another thing, I do have like a affirmation list that helps a lot, like just to get myself,
law of attraction and everything.
yeah.
Law of attraction, kind of just know what you're going to do and manifest that. It again sounds really weird if you hear it at first, but then again, I think it really works, because it kind of if it may not work out for you, you still kind of get the
Right.
positivity, and you know that you can do it. You just get positive affirmations and positive vibes from it, and that I think is a
Absolutely.
really good thing. That
That's why.
affirmations can play. Finally, a thing that we both settle upon.
Oh.
Another thing that and finally a thing that works out for both of us.
Yeah, because I know that I definitely struggled and do struggle sometimes today with a negative mindset. So having that sort of empowering mindset, positive,
Yeah.
have positive energy, I is just very important.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bring in the candles.
I mean, hey, I might. I just might. I guess I also, another thing that helps for me is therapy. I have a therapist right now, and I know that it doesn't work for some people, but just having her by my side, I go to her every 2 weeks, and just being able to talk to her and talk about all of my problems and just de-stress, it just is such a positive experience for me. Have you ever had that experience with therapy?
Yeah. No, I actually, to be honest, I actually haven't actually ever taken, any help from external sources or just a counselor in general. Because to be frank, I don't have the courage to go up. I mean, I know it's sometimes really. I kind of feel bad for not doing it, but at this point, I feel like I'm better myself. I can work on myself a bit better than others can. Again, some people do need help, and it's definitely really important if they do, but I don't think for me it's important right now. I mean, I may take help if I want to, but now I feel like I'm good. Again, but if you think you need help, you shouldn't just surf the internet and come to a random conclusion that you want to do this and you have this problem, and try to figure out things for yourself. Go talk to professionals if you need them, and don't just come into the influence of people saying that you need to go talk to them, or you need not talk to them. Just again do what works out for you, and kind of just do a self-reflection and see, do I really need this person at this point, or I should go to that person. I shouldn't just browse the
Yeah.
internet and kind of
I think
diagnose
that
myself.
having you say that, I know that in America, therapy is very not, it's very stigmatized, but also it's very expensive. So I think that if you need to, please go and get a therapist. But like Insha said, if you think that it's
Yeah.
more of an individual journey and you think that it's more like I'm gonna figure myself out, please do so. But of course, don't just browse the internet and say, hey, I have this disorder and I'm gonna treat it with myself. Don't do that.
I would just like to point one thing out, that these disorders, mental health problems are real, and sometimes, I mean, again, everybody goes through certain points, but when people kind of just treat it like a light thing, when some people just treat it as a joke, like they say, I'm depressed because their mom yelled at them for like one day. I'm not saying that they might not have those problems, but I'm just saying that sometimes people take it too lightly, and just say things that can be kind of really upsetting for some people who are struggling with the same problems, because some people sometimes treat it as a joke, and they kind of surf the internet. They think,
Yeah.
oh, I match those symptoms, I definitely have that problem, and they just joke, go around joking about it on social media, trying to act all cool. Like I don't know why people treat having these
Right.
problems as cool, but yeah, I think this is not a thing that people should do, because this is a serious
Absolutely.
topic, and doing this is not going to
I
help
definitely think
anyone.
that self-diagnosis is definitely, it can be a problem. Like if you think you show enough symptoms where you actually have a disorder, please reach out for help. But at the same time, it's not cool when people like romanticize it and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I have depression. It's so cool."
Just go around joking about it, and I don't know, treat it as
Right.
a thing that kind of gives them more
It's so
popularity and stuff
aggravating.
like
But I
that.
mean, hey, whatever makes people happy, I guess.
Yeah. They can do. Yeah.
I don't know what mental health sort of facilities you guys have. Like here we have mental health behavioral here we have mental health facilities where you basically stay for 2 weeks and you get like therapy and you get group therapy and you get medication and have that sort of environment. So I was wondering, what is that like, and have you ever experienced that over there?
Yeah, I mean, compared to the USA and India, it's definitely a little less. There's no much awareness about it, and that's, I think, the major problem. Schools have counselors, but those counselors are they're again so kind of partial. Not if not partial, then they're just like, they also stigmatize the field they're specializing in. So that's why I think people are scared to approach them. And in India, there are not many mental health facilities because I think the most biggest taboo and stereotype and stigma in India is the topic of mental health. It's not again given much importance here. I'm talking about my place and what I have experienced. Some people might have again a different experience, but for me, I have just felt that it's not a priority, and I feel like physical health is being treated as a priority, not mental health. And I feel that if you're not stable mentally, if you're not happy, then that reflects on your outside, and that kind of affects your physical health as well. So I think it also needs to be given much importance and treated equivalent to other fields.
I think that the US and India are very similar in that aspect because I have been to a mental health facility 3 times. It was very helpful, but at the same time, I know that if I went to my mother today or my friend today, they'll just be like, oh yeah, those facilities are just for crazy people. So it's very stigmatized.
Yeah, definitely. So if like a person is consulting a therapist or a psychiatrist, people treat them as if they're like, I don't know, if they're mentally ill, or if they're like a crazy person. They just treat them like, oh, you're going to that person?
Right.
Oh, I feel so sorry for you, like a crazy person. I definitely feel that's not the case. And I mean, hey, like it's no problem if you go consult a therapist. I mean, even if you don't have a problem, you can go talk to people from time to time, just so that you can have a clear idea of, if you go through these problems, how you can go about them. And yeah, there should be more facilities, definitely.
Yeah. I don't have much to say, but I just 100% agree with that. I guess we did talk a bit about how our family views it, but I was wondering, how does that affect you in regards to your mental health? How is that family dynamic?
See, I am not I won't say, I'm definitely transitioning into being a bit more confident person who talks about these topics more openly. I have actually talked to them about the fact that I'm interested in this field and I want to spread awareness and take part in such organizations and just do what I can on my scale. But I haven't actually talked to them about my problems. So whenever the topic of anxiety and depression come up, I just kind of let it go off, because I it's not about the fact that they're not going to take it into consideration. It's more about the fact that I don't want to have because sometimes when you tell people about your problems, they kind of just come at you, and I feel like I want to deal with those. I do have people that I talk to, but at the same time I kind of want to stay condensed about this right now, and I don't want to approach them about this topic. I mean, of course they'll definitely support me, but I don't think I'm ready at this point. But then again, this topic, and one of the reasons why I'm also not doing it, because I see people kind of getting criticized for approaching their family about it, and the family sometimes also doesn't, although I know that's not the case with my family, but I still am a little bit conscious about the same. I think here movies and shows play a big impact, and they kind of just influence your idea of what this particular situation is going to be like. So it definitely impacts what your decisions are about the same.
I can definitely vouch for that. Sort of wanting to distance yourself from mental health because of how your family views it. I know that especially within my family, again, I think I mentioned this before, but they don't really support mental health, and they don't really think that it's as big of a deal as it should be. It should be taken seriously.
Because I think the Generation Z, they are the people who, I mean, through records and statistics, we can say that they're the ones who actually struggled. They are the ones who struggled mostly with it, and they haven't actually experienced this in their time or in their era, and they don't relate to it. So they kind of have this particular mindset about this, and they can't guide you if they don't actually agree with it because they haven't experienced it yet.
That's why I'm so glad that I got a therapist, because I think that a lot of the time she's just like, my mother specifically, she's just like, oh yeah, you have good grades in school, you have friends, you have everything positive under the sun, and there's so much worse people out there that are worse off than your situation. So I definitely get that with the older generation thinking,
why do you need help? You have everything. You have like a perfect life. You have every condition. People are starving. And stuff like that always comes into play.
Especially the people are starving or people are homeless, and I'm like, okay, I'm sorry for feeling sad.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel I want to be a bit condensed and close about the situation to myself. When I figure out, when I'm done dealing just with myself, and then when I'm sure that yes, I am better and I have actually done something for myself, then I feel like I can, tell them, take therapist into account, definitely, because that also plays a crucial role. Even if you think you don't, again, as I said before, it all depends on you, but you still need to talk to people who are professional in this field, because you can't do everything by yourself.
Well, I don't know if you have any last minute remarks, but I do want to wrap up this episode. So, of course, you can find us on our website. It is bloompod.wixsite.com/podcast. And you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. They're all at Forever Bloom Pod. And then you can find the transcript for this episode on our website in our extra section. And you can even email us if you want to talk or if you just want to set up any business related information. You can email us at foreverbloomingpodcast@gmail.com, and be sure to check out our link tree in the descriptions where you have easy access to all of those links. And please be sure to like, comment, and share with your friends if you enjoyed this episode. And please have a great day, afternoon, or night, wherever you're listening or whenever you're listening. And thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.